Yeah.
But corn is genetically modified.
Yes,
so
corn's not good, I'll tell you that now, but we'll come back to that. Again, in the book there is basic meal outlines. It doesn't need to be complicated. It's like you have some protein, meat or fish or eggs or whatever. You have lots of veggies, have some carbs if you want, maybe some sweet potatoes or some quinoa. That's a meal. And there's a million different variations of that, switching them in and out. It's sometimes people like, oh my god, but I can't eat pizza. But there's 8 million other things you can eat. So it's about just approaching it from the right way, not feeling deprived, not feeling I miss this, I want to eat that, but about embracing the healthy side, embracing things that you can do, and enjoying being healthy. Okay, move on to the last point. So, who thinks that they need lots of willpower to work out or to eat healthy?
I think to work out a lot of the time.
Okay.
The desire is there. But when it comes to doing it, like this morning I wanted to work out for half an hour before going out.
But you didn't?
It didn't happen.
Okay, why not?
Time. Because I laid in bed.
Okay. Okay.
Home's under the hammer.
So,
get a dog and then you'll have to get over it.
why willpower doesn't work? That's exactly why. It works when you're highly motivated. It doesn't work when you're not highly motivated. So, the first day that you decide, I'll use January as an example. People make New Year's resolutions. They're going to go to the gym every single day. They're going to eat really, really well. And the 2nd of January, they're bang on it, and they go to the gym and they eat really well. 2 weeks later, they're not so motivated. They want to lay in bed. It's cold and raining outside. They'd rather spend half an hour watching Homes Under the Hammer. Suddenly they don't go anymore. Willpower didn't work. So, what you should use your willpower for is to make a plan. So you do the exercises that we said at the start to understand what you want and the situation you're in now and what you need to do to get there. Then you make a plan that you can implement into your life. That's what requires willpower. And this is a one-off thing with maybe a bit of alterations down the road. You use the willpower to make the plan, and then all you have to do is follow it. The willpower is used to implement the plan. It's not used to have a battle with yourself of, do I want to do this or do I not want to do this? It's purely and simply to follow this plan. The plan's there, it's written out, I'm going to go and do it. That's what you use willpower for in the short term. I'll tell you why not in the long term in a minute. So, you make a plan. You've set where you want to be. You've got your longer term goals. You know where you're at now. What do you need to do? You write it down. You go and you do it. And you continually assess how you're getting on. First of all, are you following your plan? That's the biggest thing. People get onto, especially diets, but any sort of regime, and they'll say, oh, it doesn't work. Have they actually been following it though? Most of the time, no. And that's why it doesn't work. The fact is, there's tens of thousands of diet books and exercise books and plans out there, and a lot of them will work. A lot of people don't follow most of them though. And a lot of them aren't realistic, they're not sustainable to follow. But if you do follow them, they do work. The problem isn't in the plan, the problem is in following the plan. So, you need to implement your plan, and if you can't implement the plan, there's probably a problem with the plan. You're unrealistic with realising where you're at and setting your expectations. So if you can't follow your plan, it's not a good plan. It doesn't mean that you're bad, and that you're a terrible person who has no willpower. It means that you are overexcited with your plan and it's unsustainable. So what you need to do is you need to make a plan that you can follow. Okay? So it's simple, little steps. Small wins, which you reward yourself for. Progressing over time. You don't jump from the start straight to finish. You build up there slowly and slowly, progressing and progressing. You can't jump straight to the end. For somebody who doesn't work out, thinking about going to the gym 6 times a week, does that sound like anyone's idea of fun? No?
Of course not.
This is what I get out of bed on a Saturday morning to go and do. I wouldn't expect you to do that though. You see what I'm saying? It's not, you don't jump to being there. You start going twice a week. And you learn to enjoy it. And then you might want to go 3 times. Don't try and go 6 times, because it's just not going to work.
Some people get addicted to it though.
Yes, they do. They do.
If it's a healthy habit, it's a good thing. Which brings me on to the next point. Creating a habit. When you have a plan, and then more importantly you follow the plan, it starts to become a habit. Mentioned at the start, everything you do is a habit. You eat the same breakfast, it's a habit. You go to the gym, it's a habit. When you follow a plan, it's written down, you're doing the same thing, you know what, it'll become a habit. You give it 30 days, and if you've done it consistently over those 30 days, it will be a habit. Once it's a habit, it's not hard to do. You don't think about it, you just get up and do it. This is where you want to be.
Yeah,
This
it takes
is
30 days to break it, doesn't it?
Yeah. I would say that you can't break a habit per se. You have to create a different one. It's very, very hard to stop doing something. It's not easy, but it's realistic to do something instead. That's why quitting smoking is very, very hard. Because it's just saying, I'm going to stop. And everything about you is saying that you don't want to stop. Apart from your conscious mind saying you want to stop. Whereas if you do something else instead, for example, that's why the success of the electric cigarettes, so you can still do it instead, that makes people quit, and I know lots of people that have quit like that with ease because they've made a new habit instead of trying to stop a habit. So this is why we're all about building healthy habits. Having a plan, writing them down, implementing it, building a healthy habit. You might go to the farmer's market on the weekend and buy all your fresh fruit and veg for the week. And if you do that every week for a month, you've got a habit, you'll do it now. I know Tim goes every week. Do you think about it?
No.
You just get up and go. It's just part of his regime, it's part of his... It's as common as getting up and brushing his teeth. You know, you build these healthy habits to replace the unhealthy habits of coming home at 9 o'clock at night going, crap, I've got no food in, let's order a pizza. You get out of the bad habit by building the new habit. Happy days, you're there. So, habits are everything basically. You are your habits. Whatever you do, your behaviours are because of habits. You are your habits. It's underlined because it's so important, because it is the only thing that you can control. You can alter your habits to change yourself. Okay? It's very, in a way it's very regimented, in that you have to plan and you have to implement said plan as it says to create the habit. But once it's a habit, it's done, don't need to think about it. And you are now a different person. You are now a healthier person. You are now nearer to being your long-term projection of who you want to be. Because you have actually changed. By changing your habits, you have changed yourself. Okay? So, is there any questions about habits and...
Trampolining.
Yep.
Is that quite a good thing? Because I find that, I mean, I've got a huge trampoline in my garden, which I've hardly used, my daughter uses it.
Okay.
But I just find it quite hard after I've done 5 minutes.
Hard as in...
I'm out of breath and my legs are hurting.
Yeah.
And
There is one food combining. It's very good for you.
We'll come back to that.
yeah. Trampoline is good because you don't put pressure on your joints.
Yeah. Yeah, trampolining is... I've never actually done it. I've been on a trampoline, obviously, but I mean, I've never done it as a regimented thing. It's a good way to exercise. The best thing about it, I think, is fun. And if someone goes and does it, they'll enjoy it. they'll go and do it again. That's the key. So yes, it is a good way to exercise.
What's the best time of day to exercise? Or is there a best time of day to exercise? Before or after eating?
I would say it doesn't matter. Fit it when it fits. If you're an Olympic standard athlete, there might be a different answer. For most people, whenever you can fit it in, whenever it's most convenient, whenever you want to do it, when you feel like you've got the most energy. So.
About the trampoline, is any places which you can go and join them? I've got the one, but my habit is not very good at the moment.
Somewhere on the bridge.
I don't know. I'm sure if you Google it, you'll be able to find it. Sorry, what did you say? Oh.
Food combined.
What
role does it play?
Specifically, to what end?
Combination diet, certain patterns, combination diet.
Okay.
You see in some family all are fat, not because of anything. It's the way they combine their food.
Yeah, I'd say it's just their overall habits.
Like meat and protein, meat and potatoes, they say should not be mixed.
If you combine crap food, you'll gain weight. If you combine healthy foods, you'll be healthy.
So give us one example. What is healthy food?
If you eat donuts on toast,
Never.
it probably won't be very good for you.
I never eat.
If you eat salmon with broccoli, it'll be good for you. Again, there is reasons that you would look at food combining, but it's more either weight loss, weight gain, athletic purposes. For health, if you're covering your bases of nutrients, minerals, I don't really think there's any reason to think about it.
Another important thing is how much should one eat? When do you stop so much space on these exercise activity?
So say that again. How much?
How much one should eat? One should not overeat.
Yeah.
When is it overeat?
So, like I said, it tends to self-regulate when you're eating good food. You eat the right sort of food and you don't get massive energy crashes. You don't feel hungry and crave food all the time. You feel hungry when you're hungry, you eat, and then you don't feel hungry anymore. So it tends to look after itself. If you want to be more specific, depending on what your goal is, if you want to lose weight and you're not losing weight, eat a little bit less.
Some people say, oh, I don't eat anything in the morning, I don't have any breakfast, I only have one meal in the evening and I'm still putting on weight. And why
They're not eating enough.
Yeah, like there'll be something going on. Either they're not being honest about what they're doing, which is quite common.
No, body goes into
It is, trust me. People will eat the healthiest diet in the world, especially actually when people are very dogmatic about the latest thing. They're very dogmatic about low carb. They'll religiously not eat carbs until they go and have a binge and eat all of the carbs in the world, which they neglect to mention as part of their diet plan, and then wonder why low carb doesn't work. So yeah, it could be that. There could be some other things going on, hormonal things. They might not be eating enough. They might be eating too much. It's very habit. It's very individual. I don't know without seeing them. Okay, I'm just going to sum up, and then we're going to take a few more questions. Okay. So the 5 pillars, which are throughout the book, is based on what we do. You can't be a whole healthy person without all of them. Now you might not be consciously doing it, but you will be doing all of them. Everybody is. So the mindset, it's about how you approach it, it's about how you feel about yourself, it's about your aims and your goals, it's about your beliefs about food, about exercise, about your health. Is it important to you? How important is it? Nutrition, it's obvious. Lifestyle, stress, sleep, things like that. Things that aren't diet or exercise that are going to affect your health. A lot of people tend to overlook them. I've worked in the city,